In my mid to late 30s, I became a single mother of 2 young children without any warning, a cash reserve, college degree, or any known formidable skill set. And I had to start my life over in that moment with what I had. Now today, I specialize in helping women start over by teaching them how to gain and develop clarity, consistency, and confidence so that they can take control of their lives, have favorable opportunities, and rewarding experiences beyond their imagination. And I do this using practical biblical principles and ordinary virtues. Thank you for watching this video. I am V. Kizzy, and in this video, I will share with you 3 things you need to know when starting over. Now, I think we all can agree that starting over is not an easy walk, regardless of its origination, be it a separation from a job, a relationship, a failed marriage, or even debt. Starting over is a legit challenge for many reasons. Now, depending on the relationship and your position within that relationship, you may be left with limited finances, limited support in the sense of community, limited marketable skills, and limited self-confidence. Therefore, you must address all 4 hurdles, starting with emotions, if you are to start your life over and sustain it successfully. And while we're on that note, know that insecurity is part of the process. It's almost impossible to start your life over without experiencing a level of insecurity. What's important is that you recognize your insecurities and you come up with a clear plan to alleviate and manage those insecurities so that you can make better choices. With that, here are my recommendations for starting over based on my experience. Number 1, permit yourself to grieve. Permit yourself to grieve. Acknowledge the hurt, acknowledge the disappointment, acknowledge the good times. There's nothing wrong with that. If for some reason there are good memories and for some reason you find yourself ruminating over those memories, don't try to punish yourself by blocking those memories, because the more you try to block the memory, the more you're going to remember it. So take that moment, live in that moment, enjoy the memory, and laugh if it allows you to laugh. If for some reason what may come to mind is not that great and it's something painful and hurtful, then empathize with yourself. Empathize with yourself. What I would recommend that you do not do is do not get trapped in that pity party, right? You can take that moment to empathize, but don't get trapped and go down this whole pity party road for the next hour or 2 hours, or even that if I just did. You know that dance, if I just did that, if I just did this, maybe things would be different. Don't. Acknowledge the moment and move on. Practicing how to direct your thoughts would be a helpful asset at this particular moment. Keep in mind, there are some emotions that must be acknowledged, they must be addressed, and they must be managed. If not, they can cause havoc in your life. And those emotions come with separations and having to start over. Those are that feeling of rejection, that feeling of betrayal, and that feeling of disappointment. Those 3 are some strong emotions and they can weigh heavy on you. Therefore, you need to acknowledge them, address them, and manage those emotions if you are to move forward successfully. Number 2, assess your situation and take notes. As difficult as it may be, you have to assess your financial and professional situation so that you can take corrective measures. I'll give you an example. When I became a single mom of 2, and I sat down and I crunched those numbers, I realized that I am 37 years old and I'm working an entry-level job with the state, making 40,000 or 41,000, whatever it was, a year, and that money was insufficient for me to pay my mortgage, pay my car note, pay for the activities that my kids were in, pay for insurance. I realized that the money that I was making was way too little in order for me to maintain the life that I was living prior to my husband departing. And I had to ask some tough questions. I had to ask myself some tough questions. I had to make some tough choices. And I will say this though, just to make a long story short, even though on paper it looked impossible, that I was not able to maintain my home and everything else, by the grace of God, I was able to do it. He made a way every single month. And it also helped that I set some goals as well. And those stuff will come later on. But right now I'm just dealing with two, which is assess the situation, and take notes. So here are a few questions that you can use so that you can assess the situation. What will it take to help me sustain myself on this journey? What will it take to help me sustain myself on this journey? Can I get a job that would pay well enough with my current skill set? Do I need to work for myself? These are all questions that you can ask so that you can get some clarity. And then, of course, number 3, get clear on what's next. And you can only get clear through clarity. You will hear me speak about clarity throughout my videos. I think it's that important that it needs to be reiterated. It's worth mentioning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as many times as it takes for you to get the importance of clarity. And let me just say, clarity comes from above, first and foremost. Yes, there may be people and program and processes to help you refine and to refine your gifts and your talents. But clarity, finding out about these things first and foremost, comes from above. So I want you to cry out. His ear is attentive to our cry. So do not underestimate the power of your Creator in any and everything you do. Like I mentioned to you before, when I crunched my numbers on paper, there was no way that I would be in my home today. There was no way that I could have completed a master's degree in that time period that I had set for myself. And that's because I did not even have a bachelor's. There are so many things that seemed impossible. But because of Him, all things are possible. So I want you to know that He cares. Cry out. I specialize in starting over because I know the pain, the shame, and the uncertainty that comes with that territory. But I also know the happiness, the rewarding opportunities, and that sense of accomplishment when your goals start to come to fruition. So join me next time as we start part 2 of starting over. I thank you for watching. I am V. Kizzy, and remember, you are always one step away from yielding better results. Be well.